welcome. So welcome everybody to the anxiety and stress management session. And I will hand over to you. I think it's gonna be a great session again.
Thank you so much. Hello and welcome everyone. Thank you so much for being here. For those of you who are with me for the first time, my name is Akcelina Cvijetic and I'm an international wellness specialist, keynote speaker and performance coach. And I have a particular interest in empowering people really live a more mindful, heartful and soulful life. So given that we are all living in these extraordinary times, I'm sure that you all know a thing or two about stress, about anxiety, individually, collectively, experientially, and that you've also discovered different ways that help you combat it. So my aim with today's session would be really to share some additional insights and practices that can contribute to more peace and calm and also resilience, so that you can respond in a way that you can enable that for yourself individually and collectively. So what is mindfulness? And I'm sure you've heard different definitions, theories. So on the most fundamental level, mindfulness is really about being fully present in the here and now. It's about being mindful of the thoughts, the feelings, the sensations that we're experiencing in our body, and just allowing them to be there as we experience them with all five senses and without any judgment, moment to moment, as they are, with compassion. So I'd like to start and kick us off with the first principle of mindfulness, which is also a really simple but a powerful inquiry and question called, is it true? And it's about a difference between reality and our story of reality. So what causes stress and anxiety is not what happens to us, but the meanings that we attach to things. And so it's not reality itself, it's actually the stories of reality that we create. So this is the main driver. This is what actually drives those anxious thoughts and stressful thoughts, and then that creates those distressing sensations and emotions in our body, which leads to reactive behavior. And then it also makes us see things that are not there. So it's those anxious thoughts and stressful thoughts. When they start coming to you, the one thing you can do, one really simple thing, would be to just observe those thoughts and sensations, just like you observe the clouds as they come and go, without getting caught in them. So this concept really ties into the second principle and concept from the mindfulness that I wanted to share. And it's a concept of so-called primary suffering and the secondary suffering, or the first arrow and the second arrow. And I'm going to use an image of the target circle and the two arrows. And this, I hope, will imprint on your beautiful mind in terms of really exemplifying this in a very simple and powerful way, because it's a really useful tool. And it talks about the first arrow and the primary suffering, which refers when something that we perceive as distressing happens to us. And it feels like that initial ouch, or like that first arrow, or like a dart in your heart. And it could be something that somebody said or not said, or done, not done. And usually it can come as a surprise, it can come as a shock, and it can just really feel like that, you know, initial wounding, or what the mindfulness tradition calls the primary suffering. Now, apart from that first arrow, the primary suffering, we also have the second arrow, or this that contributes to secondary suffering. And that really refers to the moment when we actually start attaching the meanings to the event, to the situation, to the person. All those labels, all those narratives, all those stories, when we start creating stories around it. So it's like the first arrow has hit us, and it was that like the first initial kind of shock of it, or distress. But then the second arrow comes in, and it's the second arrow that actually, you know, pushes that first arrow deeper. It's like it twists it, and it really pushes us deeper inside. And this is what causes deeper or deepens your experience of stress, of anxiety. So one of the things that the mindfulness is really helpful and can help us with is it enables us to see a difference between the first arrow and the second arrow, between the primary suffering and the secondary suffering. And most importantly, it gives us the ability, the power, the control, the capability to actually remove that second arrow out, to pull it out so as not to make the stress and anxiety worse, but to actually calm the emotional response. And as a result of that, we can see things more clearly. We can help that wound heal, that wounding, and we can respond more effectively. So really, it's the invitation here is to become more mindful of the stories we tell ourselves, of the labels we place, and to really ask the question, is it true? Or is it just my incorrect reporting? So like when I think X, Y, Z, how do I feel in my body? Am I creating a stress response, an anxious response? And like how often have you had a situation when somebody hasn't greeted you in a way that you expected, and you immediately go, oh my God, I must have done something. Have I said something? Have I not said something? Have I done something? Have I not done something? You know, and you are creating those stories, you're attaching those meanings, and you are amplifying your anxiety and stress. And then when you speak to those people, you go, I'm so sorry, I was just so busy, so detached, so disengaged. It has nothing to do with us in the first place. So I really wanted to combine these two concepts together, and to really invite you to be more mindful of them and to practice them. Just ask, is this true? Is this reality or my story reality? Because reality is the facts, you know, and the story of reality is basically everything else that we've put on and created all these misperceptions. So I'd like us also to go on to the third insight and practice of today, which is a very useful tool that can really help you shift from anxiety and stress to an instant calm and peace and resilience. And it comes from a premise that we may not be able to control what happens to us. We may not even be able to control our thoughts, our emotions, but the one thing we can control at all times, and we always have a command of, is our attention. Where are we placing our attention? Because when we are stressed and anxious, our thoughts, our mind is all over the place. And I want to bring an image of a tree in a storm, like the way the foliage, the branches are moving, whichever way the storm is moving. That's how our mind goes. So the first invitation is to bring the attention to that, to observe what we're feeling, what we're sensing, and to come from that foliage, from the branches into the trunk of the tree, which is the trunk of our body. And the way we do that is really by bringing the attention to our breath. And why do we do that? Because the breath is something that really helps us practice that mindfulness, being in the here and now. So it's very useful to, and I invite you to cultivate this training of attention to your breath, because the breath represents the very essence of life, the very essence of a mindful approach to life. And it's a very powerful anchor to the inner calm and peace and resilience and resourcefulness and everything that we need to access and that we need in the moment. It's also very useful because we don't have to buy it. We don't have to worry whether we're going to forget it at home, at work. You know, it's readily available and accessible to us. So I really thought that given that you've already had many sessions and you will be attending many more, to actually give you the gift of a really practical experience of mindful breathing meditation, which you can do for 1 minute or 5 minutes or 10 or 15 or 20, how long you have. So I'd like to invite you all to make yourself nice and comfortable in your chair or bed or on the floor, whatever feels right for you. And I'd like you to just feel fully supported and held by your chair or bed or floor. And I'd like you to close your eyes as soon as you wish, so that you can enjoy this visualization and guided meditation more fully. And just to bring your attention to your breathing. Just feel your breath moving in and out of your body. Just tune into its rhythm. You don't have to control it. Make it happen. Just follow its rise and fall that just happens all by itself. Just feeling your breath as it journeys in and out of your body. Just noticing and feeling how your breath feels as it flows through your nostrils, down your windpipe, into your lungs, and down into your belly. Just feel the movements of your belly, of your abdomen, expanding and moving with each inhalation and exhalation. And you don't have to control it in any way. Just feel it and follow it and just enjoy the ride. And allow your mind to come along too, like a surfer riding a wave of your breath. Its rise and fall that happens naturally, all by itself. And if your mind wanders, it's okay. And if it doesn't wander, that's okay too. Just notice it without judgment, gently and compassionately. Bring your attention back to your breathing. And each time you notice that your mind has wandered off, you come back to your breath. You bring your attention to your breathing. And you come back to mindfulness. And you're experiencing mindfulness. And you are back in the well of your being. But all is well. All is well. And so it is. And allow yourself a few more moments to really enjoy this wellness of your being. And just smile gently. And feel it, enjoy it, being in the wellness of your being. In the well of your being. All is well. All is well. And so it is. And then in your own time, when you're ready, open your eyes gently and slowly, bringing yourself into the present moment, into the here and now, bringing with you all the insights that have been helpful and useful to you. And I really want to thank you for your attention, for your presence. I hope this has been of value and useful, and feel free to share what has been most relevant, what your takeaway insights and practices that you'll implement are, what made you smile, what made you feel good, what made you feel calm. Thank you so much. If you have any questions, feel free to post.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
It was again a great session.
Thank you.
I have to leave because I have to go to another session.
Thank you so much for all your support. You've been great, and it's been such a pleasure and honor to be part of this.
Really tried it.
To everyone, enjoy the rest of the conference. Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you, Risha. Thank you so much.